Hi everyone, this video is about TIFR interview process, things you should know before you go to the interview. It includes things about SOP, write-up, what happens during the interview, what can increase your chances of selection. All of these things are summarized in this video, so watch this video till the end. Congrats to all of you who have qualified the written exam for TIFR JG Bills. And I could not reply to many of your comments, and in this video I'll try to summarize all of these questions that you have sent me via social media. So let me quickly remind you that TIFR is one of the premier institute in India to do biological sciences along with other fundamental sciences. So it has three centers: TIFR DBS Mumbai NCPS and TIFR Hyderabad. In all of these centers there would be biology departments. So they conduct JG Bills exam and whose score is actually accepted throughout many institutions in India. And if you have a dream to go to prestigious institutes in India, then this score would really help you out. Now in this video we are not going to talk about other institutes, but we are going to focus on TIFR and its centers. So this is the outline of the video. You know the JG Bills result is out and there are many questions right now in your mind. So these questions are: what is the basis of selection? Whether JG Bills exam score matters, write-up matters more, what is the fact? Then how much weightage does the write-up holds? Does internship during undergrad really matters during interview? Does it increase your chances of selection? And what you can do for getting selected? So all of these questions would be answered in this video. And by the way, this video is sponsored by Unacademy, which is India's biggest online learning platform, and it is a great way for preparing for several competitive exams. For example, if you want to prepare for IIT JAM, a new batch is starting, which is known as Venture Batch. Venture Batch is for all subjects, not only for physics or for biotech. It's for all the four disciplines in science. And it is starting from 23rd February 2022. All the links are provided in the description, so you can click on the links. You can use my code AP10 to get a 10% discount. By the way, there are many other entrance examinations and scholarship tests which are organized by Unacademy. One of that is BSc 50/50. So it's a free MCQ test series, and this test series it's starting from 27th Feb. There is also exam on 20th Feb. You can click on the link in the description and enroll with my with my code AP10. Okay, now let's get back to the video. So first question is, what is the basis of selection? So the selection procedure is pretty long. First of all, you have to qualify JG Bills exam. Based on your JG Bills examination score and the cutoff, they email you and they ask you for your SOP and a scientific write-up. So that's the step number 2. Then based on your scientific write-up, SOP and JG Bills score, they might call you for interview. Now there are like stages of interview. Right now every interview is kind of online. Earlier it used to be offline in pre-COVID era. So there would be a round 1 interview, which is a shorter interview, kind of like a screening round. Here you would be interviewed for, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes. And then there is a second round. Second round is an elaborate interview where you would be interviewed by a bigger panel. And then there is a step 5, which is kind of like a one-on-one session. So if you survive through these previous rounds, most likely you are going to end up in one-on-one session where you get to know and you get to like counter interview your the scientists, right? So you get to know about their work, your scopes, how your interest fits with their interest, etc. And that's kind of like a pre-final round. And ultimately they would give you offer letter. So this is the whole trajectory. Now before moving on, you should know a quick fact about it. So after step 4, that means the second round of the interview, let's say 30 students are selected. So these numbers are like fictitious. So let's say 30 students are selected, and in the final round 15 students will get the offer letter. So a sub portion of these selected students will get the offer letter, and others will be in the waiting list. So even if you make it through the one-on-one session, still it doesn't ensure that you are selected in this institute. You are selected only when you get the offer letter in your email or get a call from TIFR. So, but if you go till round 2 and if you go till one-on-one session, then at least you know that you are in the waiting list and you could get a call, right? So you can expect that much. So this is a real fact versus reality. So just because you went to a one-on-one session, it doesn't ensure that you are selected. Okay, the question number 2 is whether JGBL score matters for the selection procedure or write-up is important. So how much importance does it hold? So in that in that context, we should know that TIFR interview is the most important process during the selection. So TIFR interview is the main thing, not the exam, not the write-up. So that's pretty surprising. Let me break it down for you. So your end goal is to get the offer letter, and the key procedure is interview. But before reaching the interview stage, you need to be screened, right? And the screening procedure involves the exam and the write-up. So these two are screening procedure. The main round is the interview, and ultimately it would take you to the offer letter. So both these examination and the scientific write-up SOP would not mean that you are eligible for the TIFR PhD IPhD program. So this qualifying these would ensure that you are eligible to appear for the interview. So this is very important, and the interview is the most important. But now you are thinking that what is the selection criteria and what is the point of this drama? Because if interview is the main thing, then what's the point of this write-up? Let me break it down for you. So the selection procedure has to be fair, right? And the selection procedure can only be fair when the interviewers know your interest. They need to know you in details, and your SOP and write-up would ensure that your interviewers knows your interest. And in this interview, they ask you question based on your strongholds, not your weak points, such that you can give your optimum effort, or you can you can give your optimal performance during this interview. So during the interview, the committee asks you about your preferences, the topic you are interested in, you are most comfortable in, and based on those information, they ask you question. So this is the key importance of the SOP or the write-up round. So they kind of screen you based on your interest. Now, right now, there are many questions in your head. Okay, so how much weightage does the write-up holds? So yes, write-up has some amount of weightage because the SOP and the write-up is a way of communicating with the committee that will interview you. So in this scientific write-up, you need to show your logic, you need to show that you think logically, you have a defined interest, right? So that really helps. So the moral of the story, write-up is important, but it's not everything. A good write-up creates good impression, evokes interest in the mind of interviewers, but it does not ensure your selection, but it's the first step towards selection. So that's why writing the scientific interest in a lucid manner is really important. Okay, now you must be asking that whether it matters that your interest matches with the scientist's interest or not. So many of the students ask that whether you should write some SOPs based on what the faculties are working right now, and they think that it might increase the chances of selection. So let me break it down for you. It's not really true. Any logical write-up on any biology related topic is valued. There is no exceptional preference on a particular topic that a person is working on. So if you are not interested on a topic that a person is working on in TIFR, you should not write a scientific SOP on that. So But one thing you should know, that if your interest match with their interests, it would evoke engaging discussion. It would be interesting application for them, but it's not the kind of like a drawback if it doesn't match with your interest. Any logical write-up is okay. So just to be on the safer side, you should know that a good write-up creates good impression. Again, it does not ensure your selection. Next question is, does internship during the undergrad matters during the interview? Does it give you any advantage? So this is a big myth. There is no bias. If you have done some internship, they will know that you have some experience on research, you know how research is done, but X number of internship does not ensure your selection, or doesn't give you any added advantage during the interview. So this is the biggest myth. Now you will give your, you will think that, okay, I have asked several people and they have all said that, okay, they have done internship and they are now selected in TIFR. So there is kind of like a correlation between the internship and their selection in the interview process. But don't think that this selection is based on the internships, because once you do internship, you have some idea about the research, which eventually help to put your thoughts together. But just because you have done some internship, it doesn't ensure your selection. I can tell you my own experience. When I was interviewed back in 2016, many of my friends who have done internships from big places, they didn't get selected, and there are friends who didn't do any internship but also got selected. So it's all boils down to one thing: how much logical is your application, how you can think logically, and that's all you need. And the last thing is like what you can get selected. So this would be kind of answered in the next part of the video, but you must be thinking that what really happens during the interview, what you can do to get selected. But before that, you should know some facts about the interview process. The interview will test your understanding, reasoning, and analytical skill. So you are not valued on how much biology information you can cram in, and you have to showcase your thought process and the logic behind your thinking. So that is the crux of the interview process. So basically, what they really see in you is not your marks, not your number of internship that you have done. So what they really see in you is basically the logic behind your thought process. Now here is one problem that people face. People might have thought, but they have difficulty in terms of like putting that thought together and presenting that thought to the interviewers. So that's why they always ask you to think loud. That means whenever you are thinking, think in a think and talk about your thought process such that they know how you are thinking. So how you are thinking is also really important during this interview process. You might not be a great communicator, you might not have a great English skill or spoken English skill, so that's completely okay. But if you have a good thought in whatever language you can think in, if they understand that, then they can evaluate you better. So you have to showcase your thought process to the interviewers, and that really matters. In a different video, I'll really break down what really happens in the interview, how you can prepare for the interview. But the moral of the story is you should work on your thought process and reasoning skill, not on cramming on information. So reading several information before the interview would not help you in this process. So I hope this video was useful. You can get many notes, flashcards, etc. in my Facebook page. So follow me on Facebook as well. Links are provided in description. If you want a quick revision using dynamic flashcards before all of your entrance level examinations or your college examination, these flashcards are all available in my Facebook page, my YouTube channel community post. So don't forget to download them and use them for your preparation. As usual, like, share, and subscribe. You can support me on Patreon. My courses are in Unacademy. You can use my code AP10 to get a 10% discount. I'm present in all the social media. All the links are in the description. You can find me there. Thank you. And please let me know your questions in the comment section. I'll try to reply to you.